Mind you, way here.
No, you're fine.
You're all set, Carl.
Okay, good evening, everybody.
So it's not gonna work?
I will.
Well, you have the computer.
Go ahead, don't worry.
You ready, Colleen?
Yeah, I don't know what stuff.
Look at it, go ahead. Just start.
You're keeping the computer up there then? Yeah. The meeting tonight is for the conduct of town business by the town board. The public is invited to participate in the items marked on the agenda, public comment. During that segment of the meeting, if you have a question or comment for the supervisor, please raise your hand and wait to be acknowledged. Please state your full name and limit your remarks to 3 minutes. Thank you for your anticipated cooperation.
Thank you very much, Colleen. I'd like to start the meeting off with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence, especially for Leonard Clark, who died today at 100. It's going to be 101 in May. And also for our troops fighting for democracy and freedom all over the world. Thank you. So I would like to make an amendment to the resolution. I believe, I forget what number it is. It's for the dog control officer.
Resolution 28.
Is it
Resolution number 28.
20?
28.
28? Thank you. And so I would like to add the paragraph, whereas any financial compensation requested by Andrew McKee, Bethany Wagner, Jill Schofield, or Kevin Hinman would be allocated to the alternate dog control officer in lieu of the primary dog control officer and have zero impact on the calendar year budget of any town. To date, in over 6 years, no compensation has been requested by an alternate dog control officer. I don't think that's necessary, that last part. But let's put it in anyhow. So I'd like to make that amendment to that resolution, 28.
I'll second it.
Any, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Andrew's going to discuss this with us when he gets up and does his report. Okay. Motion to approve minutes from the December 10, 2018 Town Board meeting.
I'll motion.
Need a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None being said, so moved. Motion to approve the minutes from the January 10th, 2019 Town of Marlborough reorganizational meeting.
Motion.
I need a second. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Authorized payment of bills. So we're paying bills for 2018 and 2019. They come to $969,735.87.
I make the motion to pay the bills.
I need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None being said, so moved. Pay the bills. Any comments on the agenda? Just on the agenda. None being had, we'll move on to presentation. Mr. Brown is going to make a presentation on Con Freezer. This is our, yep, there it is up there.
Yep.
This has to do with our floating zone for the highway development. And
This plan that's up there right now is the existing features plan. It's based upon actual survey that was just performed tail end of last year.
Charlie,
Yes.
you want to come up and use the microphone, otherwise nobody's going to hear you.
Just orient us a little bit.
So the proposal is to knock down the 3 northmost coolers and the 2 houses. If you go to the next plan, please.
Could you say that again, Charlie? I'm sorry.
The proposal is, the north end of the site, there's 3 coolers, the one with the sagging roof, and the 2 next to it, and there's 2 houses, one right up against the north property line, and one right as you pull into the site. Both of those houses are proposed to be knocked down too.
The brick house, one of them is a brick, sort
Yes.
of a brickish house.
Yep, yep. Okay, next drawing, please.
This one?
No,
This is slide 2. There you go. Did it not change over?
no.
Changed before.
Oh, forget about it. It's on this side, not on that side.
Okay,
There it is.
so that shows the proposed warehouse, which would be 53,200 square feet. It's broken into 6 different sections. Some they're going to use, some they're going to rent out. I know there's a need for this because the one in Middle Hope is falling apart. I happened to be in there 2 years ago. The walls are falling down all over the place, so it's not even viable. And the next plan would be the grading plan, but this shows around the perimeter here, there's a gravel access road, and there's some areas along the outside of the coolers right there. That's for the cooling equipment. It's a concrete slab 6 feet out from the building. We have 5 loading docks. Those are the regular 4-foot off-the-ground loading docks for full tractor trailers. We did put the trailer truck movements on here, and it does work for the full 53-foot tractor trailers.
So these are the loading docks right here,
Right there, yes.
and this is the entrance coming in here?
That's actually the existing entrance.
Right.
So that whole area, other than that circle and that area right there, that's all going to be blacktop,
So
except
this whole
for,
area here is all blacktop then,
Right.
obviously.
we do have to put in some concrete pads for the legs for the trailers. That's pretty much standard on this type of project. We got a couple parking spaces over near the office. The office is just inside that door, almost to the bottom center of the screen.
Right here?
Yep. And we got 7 more parking spaces over on the other side. Want to go to the next drawing?
So just
No, I'm sorry.
the 6 separate, like warehouses, that's gonna be underneath one roof, be one building?
Yes, it's all one building. We do have some renderings of the building itself coming up. All one building, standard steel building, concrete slab. Each of those walls will be a insulated wall.
Spray foam?
Yes, yeah.
These are cold storage or
All cold storage,
or freezing?
cold.
Just
So
cold.
where that loading dock was, it looked like that line went down between the building. That,
Yeah, there's a 28-foot corridor going down that side and a 30-foot corridor going all the way to the back.
okay, and that's gonna be behind like a garage type door type thing, or is that just gonna be open air right there?
The center corridor, we have a 12 by 12 at-grade garage door,
Okay,
right? So they can bring a box truck right in there.
gotcha.
Where, could you orient me, just, where is 9W?
Right top.
I know he's up top.
Okay, gotcha.
So this is 9W. This is the current entrance, right?
A little bit south of that,
Yeah,
sorry.
Right here. This is the big old new warehouse that he originally built, right?
Yep,
This is the current offices and dock, right?
yep.
So this is the new space over here.
That building right there.
3 here, 3 here.
And that's where they're
And
going
here's
to
the dock.
demolish the ones that are there, right?
Yeah,
This is a retention, I assume, right here? Retention pond, right?
Yeah, I got 2 areas. One's for detention, that's for the water quantity, and then the one a little uphill of it, the thinner one, that's for water quality. This because of the level of development here, would require a full-blown SWIP, speed east permit, with the water quality and water quantity control.
Charlie, what's your role? I'm sorry.
He's the engineer.
You're the engineer? for-
Yeah, I'm the engineer. Doing the site engineering. I will be doing the foundation for the building. The steel building itself will be a kit. I'll probably do the interior fit-up plans too, and the office plans.
This is all dry storage, Charlie, or cold? Yeah.
It's cold, as far as I know, it's cold, not freezing, so.
And some of it will be for their usage, and some will be rented out, or?
That's my understanding at this time, yes.
Tom, you saw this before, they did all the preliminary work to the form, the application to come
Yes, it
from
was
the
presented to
board.
me to be able to be presented to you, so we presented all this. Everything was looks straightforward to me. I mean, they're replacing an older building with a newer building. The reason why it's in front of you to go to the planning board, because the zone is gonna change from RAG1 to BC. Within the BC district, it takes on the HD requirements in that zone, with the increase of traffic, and also, you know, we're gonna eliminate the house, which is not allowed in the HD zone, and the pre-existing non-conforming of a commercial entity in the RAG1 zone, which is not allowed. Again, the change of that would prompt it to go to the planning board, but through you first, because it's in the BC corridor. RAG1 zoned, the change to BC zone, which takes on the HD requirements.
So Tom, is it gonna be a lot line revision too, or is that whole lot gonna go from RAG?
No lot line revision, it's one big lot, it'll exist one big lot. That building on the north side, I'm sorry, yeah, the north side that looks to be somewhat dilapidated.
Oh, I know, yeah.
That all comes down,
Good news.
the house comes down, which is non-conforming,
Yep.
you know, not allowed in the district. So that gets all cleaned up, and there's a brand new building on that side.
Okay.
We do not meet some of the setbacks per the HD zone, but the way I read the overlay district, this board has the authority to, essentially, that same thing we did for Empire, as we modified some of the setbacks. We are farther away from the front property line than the existing building, and we are farther away from the side property line than the existing house that's over there, and we're farther from the rear property line than the existing building that's remaining to the south.
What percentage of the footprint do they occupy? Is that a concern? I'm just asking from a,
HDs is, top of my head, yeah, on my book. They're within they're okay. I think they can cover, don't hold me to it, I wanna say 35%.
okay, so you've got plenty of acreage.
They got enough acreage, yeah,
Seems
left.
like every
It
time
goes
you
to the
touch
east,
them
I guess,
on
or
it,
something.
That's when it
Must
does
have
it.
been.
Further back.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like.
You have to apologize for that.
Every time it seems like I touch the monitor to like
Yeah.
zoom in and zoom out, that's when it does it.
We're still
Don't do
working
that
on it.
anymore.
There you go.
So I'm sorry, Charlie, I didn't catch that about the setbacks.
Yeah, the way I read the overlay district is it follows the HD zone. However, this board has the authority to establish setbacks independent of that zone.
We have a 75-foot setback,
I
isn't
don't
it?
think that's the case.
There is no, we can't override that.
We can't do that.
Well, I guess we could, but
No, what'll happen is you go,
ZBA.
They'll go in front of the planning board.
go over again.
we gotta get a
This is
ZBA
where the
variance.
board
Yeah.
Just is gonna move it to the
get a
planning
variance.
board. The
Right.
planning board
Concept.
will take that plan into consideration,
Right.
put all these state requirements on it. If there's a setback requirement that's missing or encroaching on, they'll present it to the applicant, send them to the zoning board of appeals.
So Charlie, what is this right here, the setback from this side to the existing housing? How far is this right here? Is this 20, is this,
20 feet,
it's only 20 feet?
yes.
So you need
And I think our new
75.
variance is 75, right?
That's a side yard there.
Side yard in HD, I don't think it's
I don't know
that's
what the
front
back
rear.
yard is.
Side yard, I believe, is
But it's further away than the existing.
35?
So you're going to the
Yes,
north.
further away than the existing house by a lot,
The existing, you're saying the existing house is much closer.
Close.
much closer.
To the lot.
Yes.
Okay. So we're, in your view, we're bettering the situation, right?
Well,
We're lessening the
Yes.
situation.
we're lessening it, but you're building a bigger building,
You are.
so it's a little different for a neighbor.
So you
Here we go
understand you
again.
probably have to go through the process. This board will make a determination that you could go in front of the planning board. Once you get in front of the planning board, there's setbacks
whole app
issues, and
disappears and then
probably
it
have
comes
to go
back.
to the
Yeah,
ZBA
it
or
just
whatever
came
they
back.
recommend that you do.
And that's where we take care of all the hard engineering, the drainage and
Yeah.
stormwater quality.
Yep.
There any plans to sprinkler this building?
No, actually,
I'll tell Mike.
if we use the partition walls as firewalls, then we do not have to sprinkler this, based upon the size and the use. If it was all wide open, we would.
Charlie, can you tell us what you store in there now and what you anticipate to store in there?
Well, I know they're working with Keaton for the grape seeds, and they're squeezing the grape oil out of them. They do store, apples. They do a lot of stuff with Amy Hepworth. I can get particulars on that for this board.
The other building, the newer one that's there, is that freezer?
That's cold storage too, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, that's cold storage, not freezer.
Uh,
There's no freezers.
it's-
There's no
It's freezers, yes, yes.
Excuse me?
It's freezer,
I thought so. I thought they still do
yeah.
free stuff for distributors and so
Yep.
forth.
Not as much as they used to.
Right.
Okay.
Well, this is Cadem now, right? So it's not like,
Cadem owns it now, yeah.
so this is the elevation?
Yes, that's the front elevation. That shows the 5 doors for the tractor trailers. And then in the middle there is the 12 by 12 door at grade. Next to that is the door to the office. And those windows are in the offices, is 2 floors.
So that's facing west?
That's facing south.
How much office space would that?
It was 35 by 27, 2 floors.
35 by 27.
It's funny how that screen, I knew that screen was gonna go off because it wasn't moving.
And
Funny.
And it's all metal, you said, Charlie?
All metal, yeah.
Metal exterior.
Yeah, it'll be a steel metal building with the columns and the bents every 20 or 30, 25 feet. The interior partition walls will be light gauge steel, again with spray foam. And same thing with the office will be framed in light gauge steel.
And how many total
Method
square
of
foot?
cooling is going to be,
They're going to, he's actually talking about, maybe putting solar on the roof, but that would be a whole nother thing. But on each, if we went back to the site plan, on each end of the building, there's 6 foot by 80-something foot slabs outside the building, and that's where the compressors are going to go.
okay, that'll be like a Freon type compression system?
I don't know. I'm not a mechanical guy.
What was the size, Charlie? I'm sorry.
It's 6 feet by 80-something long, so there's plenty of room for compressors.
I mean, the 3 units, how big are they?
Say right
The
here,
3,
53.6 by 125,
Yeah, and then
7,200 square feet each.
the last one there is larger because it tucks behind the office.
This one's a little bigger.
Yeah,
it's almost 50,000, 40 to
That's,
50,000.
the whole building is 53,200.
Office.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, the whole building is 53,000 square feet?
53,200 square feet, yes.
Okay.
Total building, just section 12.
That's huge.
It's over an acre.
And the pond thing
There
is
was never any,
40,000.
never any discussion to expand the water up? Because I mean, the water's on south, would be South Road right there, wouldn't it? And the last hydrant's South Road, right, Charlie?
You could tell it was for.
And how far is that? That's not too bad.
No, 'cause I mean, that would be, especially for the insurance purposes, that would be significant savings.
Right,
Insurance.
right,
So
right.
does this have to be sprinkled?
As it's shown now, if the partition walls between the different individual units are firewalls, which is what we intend, then it does not have to be sprinklered. If the building was wide open, at this size, it would be.
Okay. With the firewall.
But I wonder, something to go back to maybe the owners.
Sprinkled because it's a wide open area.
Yeah. Go back to the owners. I wonder with the insurance, I'm.
Smaller.
Gotcha.
Is it on the same side as the road?
It's on the same side of the road, yeah. So there wouldn't be any board. Charlie, that's what, an 8-inch main? Yeah. And it goes right up to the tip. What's that? Okay. 2 years ago, okay. I was wondering what it would do for the actual insurance over the
So,
whole
Tom,
Oh, I'll mention that to
here,
him. Yeah.
you're okay with it from what you've seen? So you
Yeah, everything presented.
recommend that you come here?
Make a vote to send it to the planning board, correct?
Yeah, and then I'll formally send a letter to Chris Brand, the chairman, and then he'll come in and do the planning board thing with the escrow and everything
Do
else.
we have
and-
to officially vote or no?
Yeah, we can do that. In a
just make it
second, we
official.
can do that. I plan on doing it.
I was just wondering.
Yeah.
You said you were just gonna write a letter. so.
You're ahead of me. A little slow tonight, cold. So also, along with that, because of our code, with the overlay zone code, Charlie also provided a full environmental assessment form. So I'll pass that along also to the planning board, along with the maps that were required to fulfill the code to move on. So, any other questions for Charlie on this project? So I need a motion to pass it along to the chairman and start that process on the planning board side.
I'll make a motion, we pass this along to the chairman of the planning board.
And I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None said.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie.
Charlie, here you go. Where's that going with this?
Just leave it here.
Yep. Yes, it is.
Get it fixed. It's probably. You're gonna have to go to the school board meeting and see what they agree.
No, they had trouble at the school board meeting.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, the same problem. All right, we are at
All right, moving right along. So,
supervisors.
report of departments and boards, Supervisor Lanzetta. So I prepared a brief summary of supervisor report on the state of the town of Marlborough, 2018-2019. On behalf of the town board, I want to take this opportunity to assess the work accomplished in the previous year and what we are looking forward as we begin to task of guiding our community for 2019. The town was able to address a number of its needs for infrastructure improvement with the help of the town of Marlborough Highway Department and members of local labor's 17. We were able to complete sidewalks along the western side of Grand Street from Western Avenue to Church Street in the hamlet of Marlborough. This involved working with Central Hudson and Verizon to move poles and install additional lights. The town also completed sidewalks on the east side of Grand to Bloom Street. Much of this work was funded through a member item for $250,000 from the late Assemblyman Frank Scartatos. Looking forward to 2019, we hope to complete additional sidewalks on West Street to Bloom Street. Working with local business owner Mark Caliglia, the town was able to offer a municipal parking lot on Western Avenue, central to hamlet of Marlborough. 2018 also marked the date that contracts were received to begin the process of extending sewer along Route 9W in the hamlet of Marlborough, thanks to the combined efforts of Senator Larkin and the late Assemblyman Scartatos. 500,000 member items will help fund the effort to attract more business to the Route 9W corridor and allow existing projects to move forward. Meanwhile, the extension of sewer to Route 9W in the hamlet of Milton was completed. The town worked with Central Hudson to complete the switch of all fixtures in the municipal lighting district to LED. The town also saved money by switching to LED lighting at its highway building on Route 9W. The town worked very hard to broaden the tax base by increasing economic development. Besides the extension of infrastructure improvements, the town board passed zoning code changes to extend opportunities for development and attract new business. Work has begun on a 40,000 square foot, $7 million pod storage facility at the southern end of Route 9W. Work has also begun on Chestnut Petroleum project to the north of Marlborough Hamlet. Town government works tirelessly with Ulster County Planning, Ulster County Economic Development Director, the IDA, and representatives of New York State DOT to facilitate movement on these and other projects. The town also collaborated on a study to improve the Route 9W corridor, which was completed and adopted at the end of 2018. We will work with Ulster County Transportation Council to implement the proposal as we go into 2019. The town board is also aware of the importance of quality of life for the people in our community. Work continued in Milton on the parks at the Hudson River front. Thanks to member item from Senator Larkin for $150,000, the town was able to complete the exterior rehabilitation of the historic Milton train station. While our partners, the Milton Train Station Foundation, continues to work to finish the paving and landscaping. The building is, once again, open for the public use by the community. The town, with the help of the Milton Firehouse and volunteers from the Jolly Rovers, was able to close out the grant from the Hudson River Greenway for $4,000 for trail building. The town completed and adopted a master plan for the development of a Milton train station park, and there are funds available to begin work for 2019. Thanks to our volunteer grant writer, Rosemary Wine, the town was able to receive a New York State Estuary grant for $40,000 that was used to evaluate the conditions of the piers at the Milton Landing Park. With that information in hand, Rosemary worked to secure all the necessary permits to do the future work. That enabled the town to become the recipient of an award from the governor's CFA granting process for $313,000 to be put towards the rehabilitation of the docks at Milton Landing Park. This vote of confidence from the state of New York will help us to attract additional funding for this important project. And 2018 saw the incorporation of a 501(c) organization's Friends of Milton Landing Park, which will give the town a nonprofit partner in fundraising. The town was given a $150,000 member item to renovate the existing children's play area at Cluachance Park and make it safer and accessible for children of various abilities and needs. Work guided by professionals and our active citizen playground committee should begin in 2019. 2018 marked the signing of a lease with the Tilcon Corporation to allow the public to hike on lands in Marlborough that were formerly private. We hope to work on development of that trail network in 2019. 2018 also proved to be the opportunity for community to tell the town that it was interested in retaining the building known as Tomvac and rehabilitation for use by community members. Thanks to a new Citizens Committee and a $250,000 member item from the late Assemblyman Scott Tados, 2019 will become the year we work towards that goal. The town of Marlborough has made a lot of progress past year. The town board has worked hard to do all this and still keep taxes down within the mandate cap of 2%. This would not be possible without other members and staff of town government who work very hard to offer the quality of service that this community enjoys. Marlborough is also blessed to have so many members of the community who are willing to volunteer to be on committees and help guide our future. Lastly, our town is deeply indebted to our closest allies, two men who sincerely loved and cared for the members of our community. Assemblyman Frank Scartatos, who died in 2018. Frank proved to us that he was a workhorse, and we will always miss our hometown friend. Senator William Larkin, who retired in 2018 after a lifetime of public service. Senator Larkin was a very good friend to the people of Marlborough, and we will miss him, and he will be missed. As we look to 2019, we can be confident that our new representatives will come to know and love Marlborough as well. The town has important initiatives that will move forward, and the government is committed to doing its best to provide necessary service and improve all aspects of our constituents' lives. Thank you for listening. I hope I didn't bore you too much. But as you can see, 2018 was a great year for this board, and I appreciate all your hard work, and I just want to let people know, because we hear out there, you know, some people don't know what we're doing, but we've done a lot in 2018 thanks to this board.
I'm on this. And it frees up. There's a, you know what I'm thinking it is? It's a wireless thing. Because it's freezing. See, like I'm already on another page and it's not on the screen yet. And then it freezes and locks out. So, but you're up now. So we have to work on an actual better connection. Maybe we have to have a direct connect. Hardwire. Yep.
Tom?
Okay.
Building Inspector's Monthly Report, December 2018. Certificate of Occupancy 2, Request for Information 5, Building Extensions 1, Fire Inspections 7, Order to Remedies 11, Complaints 28, Burn Permits issued 14, Building Permits issued 10, 1 electrical, 1 tank installation, 1 shed, 1 roof, 6 additions for an estimated cost of building of $186,146. Total monthly receipts, Certificate of Occupancy 300, Request for Information 500, Building Extensions 100, Building Permits 1776, Fire Inspections 360, Burn Permits 70, for a total monthly receipt of $3,106. Total miles 1091, total gas usage 90 gallons.
Any questions for Tom? As he patiently waits.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. I'm catching up here.
This works at 1 free.
Good evening. Activity summary for the month of December 2018. Personal injury auto accidents 2, fatal 0, property damage accidents 11, accidents not requiring report 5 for a total 18 for the month. Vehicle and traffic summonses issued 35 with 0 parking tickets issued. Blotter entries and activity for complaints 267 with a total arrest of 17. Telephone calls handled 1,794. Police Department overtime hours, full-time dispatch 10 hours, part-time dispatch 0 hours. Police mileage 10,947 miles with a fuel consumption of 972.504 gallons.
Any questions for the chief?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jerry.
Okay.
Highway Superintendent.
Highway Superintendent, you want to do that,
I can do it.
Alan?
Yep.
Please.
Okay, monthly report for December 2018. We did coal patch patrols as needed throughout the township. We blacktopped the water main break on Hudson Terrace. We cleaned up ditch lines on Mahoney Road, Conklin's Hill, Pleasant View, and Upper Bailey's Gap Road. We had to build up the road shoulder at South Willow Tree where a large truck ran off the road. Brush and weeds. We vacuumed up leaves on Mahoney Road, Old Indian Road, Mount Zion Road, Mountain and Reservoir Roads. This completed our leaf cleanup for the town roads on 12/6. We took down and chipped up a tree on Hillside. We trimmed and chipped trees on Breezy Heights. We had a tree down on Bailey's Gap and cut and chipped it. On 12/20, we worked with Ulster County in removing a large tree down in Plattekill Stream off of Western Avenue. This was a potential disaster if it flooded and washed down into the White Street Bridge. Landfill. We mowed around the test wells at the landfill for the engineers to work on. On 12/21, we sent the loader up to the landfill to push down the bins, pile up the brush pile, and fill potholes. Water Department. We assisted the Water Department with a break on Hudson Terrace on 12/4. Snow and ice. On 12/13, forecast was for 1 to 2 inches, but changed to rain with icing at night. We pre-treated all the roads at 2 p.m. and everything was okay at 5 a.m. On 12/24, forecast was for light snow, and we started salting at 3 a.m., and this cleared all the roads. Accumulation of a dusting to 2 inches of snow. We pre-treated west of Latintown Road, but temp rose during the night, and everything was all right in the morning. On 12/30, forecast was for clear skies, but it started snowing at 7 a.m. and the roads were covered by 8 a.m. All men in to salt all roads and clear them up as snowstorm stopped early. No accumulation. We had 2 trees down due to winds and had to clear these off the roads that morning. Fuel usage: gas 351.821 gallons, diesel 917.419 gallons. Respectfully submitted, Gail Epler Sr.
Thank you, Alan.
Okay.
Charles?
It's a wire
Water Superintendent.
connection, and then it says activity start. So either TV needs a booster, or we gotta have it.
Good evening.
Good evening. My monthly report for December, water consumption total of 14.2 million gallons, which is a daily usage of 458,000 gallons a day, compared to last month, which was 14.7 million gallons, which is a daily usage of 490,000 gallons a day, compared to a year ago, which was 12.6 million for the month, which is a daily usage of 422,000 gallons a day. The summary for the month: water mains, we repaired a 8-inch water main and installed a valve in Milton on 9W. with help from the highway department. Hydrants, we installed snow markers on hydrants, and we also winterized them. Service lines, we had to repair a service line on Hudson Terrace with the assistance of the highway department. Valves, we repaired a valve on Western Avenue. We were also called for a flooded basement that had to be alleviated on North Road and Dock Road. We were also called for a clogged sewer at the Village Square that had to be addressed, and it was an eternal matter. Pump house, we had to calibrate the flow meter, turbidity meter, and chart recorder at the pump house. Service line inspections, there weren't any closings. We had 4, markouts 20, gallons of gas used 265, and the mileage for the month was 1,920. I also have a summary for 2018. Our water consumption totaled 178.2 million gallons for the year. A monthly usage of 14, this is an average, 14.8 million gallons, and a daily usage of 438,700 a day, which was compared to 2017. Our annual usage was 160.1 million gallons for the year. Our monthly usage was also down 13.3 million gallons, and the daily usage is 438,700.
Charlie,
That's,
Seven,
that has to be a
no,
mistake, if
yeah,
that's the same.
that is,
That would be, to play those numbers, Charlie,
you know what happened? I know what it
but
is.
that happens.
It's not 438, it should be 478,000. So it was about 50,000 more gallons.
In 20,
It should
Per
be less,
day.
it should be under 400 then.
no, he's saying 2018
No,
was probably higher.
2018 was it's 50, it's about 50,
Right.
we were about 52,000 gallons
Less.
more.
So what's the difference, you think, that we're about 50,000 gallons more per day?
It could be from our usage from Brooklyn Bottling. That was one matter. The water, the breaks, the water main breaks, we had a couple more than last year.
Okay.
I have it also down here. It says in 2018, we had 10 major water main breaks compared to 2017, which was 6. We also added 250 feet of 8-inch main on Highland Avenue. Hydrants, we had to repair 8 hydrants, 3 which were damaged by hit motor vehicles, and compared to last year where we had 6 to repair. Service line repairs, we had 19 service lines compared to 2017, which were 17. Valve repairs, we repaired 4 valves, and in 2018 and in 2017, it was only 2. Sewer, we had 4 sewer calls for backups compared to 2017, which was 2. Closings,
4.7.
we had 55 closings in 2018 and 54 closings in 2017. Markouts, we had 465 markouts in 2018, and in 2017, we had 220. So I know that
Almost double.
there was a misprint. It should be about 70, because when I added, it was about 53,000 gallons per day more.
More.
Because just by the usage, it was 18 million gallons more for annual.
Question for you. On Church Street, Hudson Terrace, as you're going up Church Street,
Yeah,
it looks
there's
like there's water coming out of the ground.
It's groundwater. It's
Okay.
not,
It's
doesn't
not,
have
it's coming
no,
right through the road, I mean.
yeah, it doesn't have fluoride in
And it
it.
freezes up like crazy.
It doesn't have
You told me
fluoride.
mine didn't have fluoride in it, it was,
Yeah, but this has no fluoride and no
I know, but it's,
chlorine.
it's gonna be an issue, because I mean, a day like today, when there's no rain in it, the thing is like an ice pond going up the street.
It's been like that for
About 2 weeks, yeah.
more than that.
Well, I noticed
Water
it too.
table's pretty high.
It's been bleeding, and then it goes away, and then it comes back.
But I mean, right now, there's like a little
That's
pond
the
on one
difference of
side.
just having rain.
So it's groundwater, it's not.
Yeah, there's also a problem on Sands Avenue,
Yeah.
a big ice problem.
Yeah.
If it was
I'm just
leaking,
concerned because it's on a hill, you know,
if it was leaking, the water would be running constantly.
Yeah.
Because the water in the and the water main now is about
See, they're both saying
42
monitor one.
degrees.
But the
That's the other
groundwater's
thing,
coming
so
up from underneath and come poking through the,
Doesn't say monitor
the
one,
blacktop,
monitor
basically.
two.
Charlie,
see, it
the
does.
flooded basement, so what'd you do? Did you pump it out, or?
No, the flooded basements, we got called, there was a house that's abandoned, that they turned off the electricity, and I guess there's sub pumps, and the sub pumps aren't working, so the basement is flooded.
So
It's
you
not-
you
what
don't-
did you do?
You don't do anything, right? You call
No,
it-
they said that they thought that the water meter was broken, but it's not. We turned off the water wasn't running, it's from the sub pumps, the basements weren't,
So the
Yeah.
the electric, so it's groundwater.
Okay. Thank you, Charlie. Any questions for Charlie?
Good.
All right, we're
Thank you,
good.
Charlie.
Colleen?
Town Clerk, monthly report for December 2018. Conservation, 3 for $3.43. Dog licenses, 11 for a total of $65. Tow licenses, 2 for a total of $500. Transfer station permits, 5 for $315. Punch cards, 29 for $1,715. Zumba, 1 for $150. Accident reports, 17 for $85. Certified copies, 2 for $60. FOIL requests, 3 for $14. Jiu-Jitsu, 1 for $150, for a grand total of $3,057.43.
Any questions for Colleen? Good. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I don't see any boot camp fees. I thought Joe gave some money.
We gave 450.
So, yeah, why isn't it up there?
I gave it to Vinny. Vinny said he gave it to him.
Did you get a fee from boot camp?
I got one check for $450, but
It was in
he still owes
January?
$450.
So it's January, that's why. That's why we don't see it, because it's gonna be in January?
Yeah, he just paid me the $450, so, but that was, he still owes for the last 3 months for the last year.
So he owes some more
He
money.
owes $450 still from last year.
Okay. This is a water report from Julian Falcon, January 3rd, 2019. Report on the Marlborough wastewater treatment plant for December 2018. The average flow meter reading to the plant was 142,000 gallons per day. The design capacity is 175,000 gallons per day. We used 81% of capacity. The process is meeting all of the speedies requirements. Lab results showed that we removed 98% of BOD and 95% of suspended solids during the month. At Milton Wastewater Treatment Plant, the average flow to the Milton plant during December 2018 was 35,000 gallons per day. This is 64% of design capacity, which is 55,000 gallons per day. We showed 97% of BOD and 88% of TSS removal. The process is working well, meeting speedies requirements. Overall, both wastewater treatment plants are in good working order. We're getting older. The collection system is being monitored and maintained by Charlie Maggio and the Water Department. If you need any additional information, please do not hesitate to contact me, Julian Falcon, Water Quality Management. So I talked to Tony today, so he's feeling a little bit better, so maybe I'll get that meeting with Dennis and whoever can make that. You know, we could talk about the two facilities and see what we need. I know he called me up telling me that one of the pieces of equipment had failed and it doesn't pay to rebuild it, but it would cost to do it new, and they have to do it. It's around $20,000. So it's failing, so we have to do something about it. But I don't know. It's probably because of age. I forget what item it was part of the plant, but was one of those that that he actually wanted to replace and make it bigger. But now, so we have to, I don't know if it's in the big tank, but I'll have, he's supposed to email me a detail of, what he's requesting and how much it's going to cost, and I'll let the board know. Town of Marlborough Dog Control. Yes, Andrew, how are you? Welcome.
Very good. Good evening, gentlemen.
This is Marlborough, right?
Yeah, I do, I know that.
You're gonna take your shirt off.
Tom loaned me a,
Take your shirt off.
turn it
Where's
inside out
your
for
Marlboro
you.
shirt underneath that?
No, not yet, I'm gonna get one, no. I gotta say, I've been to a lot of board meetings, not here, but over the years, and this is the first time all department heads stayed. I'm amazed, thank you.
Well, not
All
all.
right, you're not allowed to
back
leave.
your
Oh, I didn't know that. It's a good thing I didn't go first.
Got their reports, but they're not
Okay.
here.
All right, the monthly report for December 2018 received a total of 16 calls, including 8 calls to service from the Marlborough Police Department, State Police, or Ulster County Sheriff. I need to take that out because the state police typically don't contact me directly in Marlborough. They always go through this police department. And 1,700 calls. Okay. We responded to 4 active complaints or cases which are now closed or resolved. We currently have 2 open cases that have been addressed but are ongoing or unresolved. We impounded 1 dog this month. The dog is available for adoption. It's still in our care. I think there's a rescue that's going to be taking the dog this week. All right, there were 0 dog bites reported this month. Currently have 1 dog in the shelter. We have 0 cases in the Marlborough Justice Court. I had attached a boarding contract for the 2019 calendar year, which is switching back to Gardner Animal Hospital. After a number of administration changes throughout the year with the Ulster County SPCA and a difficulty in having access after hours in the evenings.
Yeah,
and
could you
nights
go a
was,
little more into detail with the
Sure.
board of, how that all occurred? Because I have something here to sign and I want the board to be aware of it.
Absolutely. Oftentimes, especially in the summer, warmer months, DWI stops when they have an animal in the car. We have to go out in the middle of the night and hold the dog for a period of time. There was actually a criminal arrest this year. We came and took a couple dogs. We didn't have access to the facility. I had to literally take the dogs home, and we had one last year. We had goats we had to come and get out of a vehicle. I mean, these are situations where, as a dog control officer, it's not a big deal. I love my job. I like doing my job. But when I have to take the next day off of work because I got somebody's goats in my car, it's it doesn't work out well for anybody. So we need access to them 24 hours a day. And then the last couple dogs we brought there, they just arbitrarily increased their intake fee to $150. They decided they would do a full vet workup before they brought the dogs in. So I just told them we don't think that we can do that. So they sent, I think, a contract up with no pricing on it. So that's not something that's going to work out for us.
It's like going to a restaurant and there's no prices.
Yes,
It's pretty
yeah.
expensive.
Yeah, we couldn't do that. We can't pass that cost on to our
So
residents.
in the comparison with Gardner, the fees lower at Gardner or about the same?
Substantially lower. It's
Okay.
they actually raised their rates from what they charged before. They charged $25 a day to board the dogs. Regardless of what time we bring them, they don't charge us for after-hours intake. They'll open the place up any time of day or night for us to take a dog in.
We usually get refunded because the owner would go and pay that
Yes.
fee.
And
Is that the case with the last one with the 400 and some dollars?
No, not with the most recent one with the SPCA. That's
Yeah.
not going to work out for us.
Oh, that's the one that's up for adoption.
Yeah, and the one that's up for adoption is in Gardner. I brought it to Gardner.
Okay.
So that one, it's going to cost us, 1 out of 6 or 8 dogs, we wind up having to, eat the expense of vetting and rehoming. But,
What's that last one, bro?
It happens.
yeah.
So, that being said, with Andrew telling the board about the ASPC up in Kingston and Gardner, is the board all right for me to sign this contract with Gardner and moving forward? I need a motion to do that.
I'll make the motion that you sign the contract.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
I think it's just,
And then could you explain the resolution that's before the board today about the, when you're on vacation, these people are going to come in and fill the gap?
Yes, I can. Now, over the years, we typically have helped each other out when they go on vacation. I cover for them. Generally speaking, it's just picking up a stray dog or responding to a complaint, taking information, having them wait till the person comes back from vacation. A few months ago, I was covering for the town of Wawarsing, which includes the town of city of Ellenville, and there was a dog bite. It was a horrible dog bite. A child got bitten in the face.
In the face.
Yeah, and what I did was I spoke to I found out who was who. I got the information that I could gather because the Department of Health contacted me. They were trying to locate the dog. What happened was the family stopped cooperating with me when they realized that I was covering. The time it took me to get the Ulster County Sheriff's detective up to speed who said they would take over, by the time we got him up to speed and he got into court and got the paperwork, the dog was gone. They had removed the dog from the county, which was the only way to avoid the dog being seized. So, God forbid something like that happens in our town. It would be to our advantage to have somebody who knows the process of seizing an animal that could just drive over here, meet with the judge in 5 minutes, have an order, and go over with the police and get this dog out of the community. You know, if that ever did happen here, we'd want to have that authority that they could do that on behalf of the public here. They can't do that now, and the learning curve for them to teach the police an hour or two could be, you know, the time that the dog's gone and bite somebody else next week. So,
Makes sense.
if I was to get hurt over there or injured or bitten by a dog, and the vice versa, if they were to come over here and get bitten by a dog as well, they'd have the appointment, they'd have the same protection I had, and it would be, you know, it'd be a good measure for all the towns involved. And I know there's a lot of towns listed on here. They do a lot of towns over there, you know, including Olive, Marbletown, Sopus, Wawarsing. When I cover for them, I get very few calls. So, but it's a good idea. Probably be a good measure for everybody involved.
Is Marlborough the first one that we might adopt this tonight? I think we will.
Yes, I believe you will be, yes.
We're the trendsetters.
You are the trendsetters, absolutely.
we're the guinea pigs.
Any questions for Andrew? Well, thank you very much for stopping and explaining the resolution and the change in the from the ASPCA to Gardner.
Thank you. And is Bethany Wager, is she appointed as our deputy? Did that get done at the reorg meeting this year? She's our volunteer deputy.
Did you ask us to?
I may have at the last minute sent an email or
I remember that, I thought.
to somebody.
No. Bethany Wagner?
Bethany Wager, yes.
Wager.
She's changed her name back to her maiden name.
Right here.
And if that's possible to do that, just that if the board could add her as appoint her as a volunteer deputy dog control officer officially, that would be great too.
You want to make that motion,
it
or you
al-
want to do that through a resolution? We could do it right now.
Alternate dog control officer, is that the title?
Yeah.
She's a deputy, yeah.
Okay, I would make that motion that we appoint Bethany Wager as alternate dog control officer for 2019 for the town of Marlborough. Is that
Okay.
right?
You need a second on that?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Well, James has got a question there, Al. You got a hand up there.
James? This is in response to Andrew's.
Yes, I just wanted to ask if it would be practical, possible, or a thing that you might want to do if there's a dog for adoption, putting a picture up on the website and putting a note on something like that, if that would help expedite an adoption. So I thought you might want to think about that.
Good idea.
You'd have to give us the picture.
Give a picture, send to Danielle.
Yeah.
You have to send the picture with like a number on the bottom?
Mugshot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you could send it over to,
Yeah, we could do that. Thank you, James. Excellent idea. Okay. You want to do the assessors? I could do the assessors. You want to do it? Go ahead. Go ahead, Ed.
Town Board from Cindy Hilbert, this is a real long one. January report, should be a December report, shouldn't it? I don't think that's January. Our office processed 3,322 real property sale transfers. We worked on 4 property tax estimates. We verified the sales records for the month. We have been reviewing our sales records and collecting a new construction and permit data for the 2019 assessment roll.
Thank you very much, Ed. Howard, planning board review?
Yeah. Planning Board reviewed December 2018, first meeting December 3rd, 7:30 PM at the Town Hall. The meeting was canceled. Next deadline was Friday, December 7th. Next scheduled meeting, Monday, December 17th. Minutes for the meeting on December 17th. Approval of stenographic minutes for 11/5 and 11/19/2018. Approval for the above minutes was granted unanimously. Attendees at the meeting were Chris Brand, Manny Couchy, Steve Clark, Cindy Lanzetta, Joe LaFaro, Ben Trapani, Joel Trincali. Agenda, Milton Turnpike Solar Farm, 132 Milton Turnpike, Milton Public Hearing Site Plan. Public hearing was opened with limited participation. The project requires submission to the Ulster County Planning Board and approval from the Ulster County Department of Public Works. The board is requesting visual simulations from historic locations in Dutchess County. Municipal authorizations required prior to construction and obtaining a stormwater speedies permit. The public hearing was adjourned until January 22nd, whereupon the applicant will return. Second item, Ridge Road, Marlborough. Final site plan, the application was approved via unanimous approval of the seeker, negative deck, and notice of determination of non-significance and resolution of approval for the 3-lot subdivision. The applicant was reminded to bring their escrow account up to date before any final maps will be signed. Third item, Kevin and Kelly Casey, 134 Idlewild Road, Marlborough, final lot line. The application was approved via unanimous approval of the seeker, negative deck, and notice of determination of non-significance and resolution of approval for the lot line revision. Fourth item, Robert Pollock, Buttermilk Spa expansion discussion without attorney, engineer, and/or stenographer. The applicant sought guidance regarding his previously approved 2014 site plan to expand the spa at Buttermilk Falls. As all previous approvals have expired, the applicant was advised to submit a new application to seek reapproval of his plans. Next deadline, Friday, December 21st, 2018. Next scheduled meeting, Monday, January 7th, 2019. Respectfully submitted, Chris Brand, Chairman, Town of Marlborough Planning Board.
Thank you, Howard.
Yep.
It's almost like you should put some kind of hip-hop beat to that whole thing.
Hey, got it. Next time I'll bring my guitar.
Okay. Moving right along, report of the committee, Recreation Committee. I think, Scott, they met once at the Tomvac building? when
Yep,
were
we had a
talking about Tomvac?
recreation meeting, was it about 2 weeks ago now? We had a good attendance, mainly because we had on the docket talk about renovations of the Tomback building. We got a lot of good feedback from community members about what they may or may not want there. We discussed that at our next meeting of our Tomback committee group, and we did take into advice some of what they asked us to do. We did later on follow up with the recreational fee increases that we passed at our reorg meeting. They're all well aware of the changes in the fees. They're not going to start to March 1st, so we gave them some leeway to adjust their rates to what they're charging their members. So that's where we're at with recreation, but we do still have to, we did get their insurance up to date now, which is good. We still have some payments that need to be made, but I think we're moving in the right direction. But we'll see what the future holds here, so.
Yep. I would say, and I think everybody in this board would agree, we've been more than lenient with everybody at Tomvac and patient, but that's dwindling now. So we have, like Scott said, we have this new form. You know, there's a couple of good ones, but certain ones are not living up to what we really require of them. So got to March. I think that's fair. I think the board's been more than generous. So we'll see. Emergency Management Preparedness Committee.
No updates. I mean, it was updated for the year with basically just fire chief changes. That's about it.
Okay. The CAC, we met. We reviewed the county's recommendations. Very little. They actually liked it. It's a little lengthy, so we're going to look at the cutting down a lot of the verbiage, and then hopefully we'll bring it to the board next month. The IT committee, we're still working on these
It's doing good.
TVs. So, yeah, we're moving along. Milton Train Station Foundation, they're going to meet tomorrow night. We've received engineer data for the pavers in front, and so they're moving along with that. So the whole deal is that they're paying for the engineering cost on that. I think it's around $7,000. And then we have about $7,000 left from Bill Larkin, the train station exterior. So we could use hopefully $7,000 of that to move forward with buying the pavers. And then they'll pick up the rest of the cost, the train station foundation. Milton Landing Citizens Committee, yes, sir.
Just on the train station foundation, just noticed with the roof and the gutters and everything, which came out good, the way the roof sheds the rainwater, the gutters is basically downspout right onto the ground.
Yeah, we got to do something about that.
Yeah, I would suggest before, or while you're engineering the plans for the pavers, I would excavate and, I mean, see if we can work with the highway department in the winter or whatever. I would excavate and actually lay in drain lines, catching both of those either into catch basins or directly piping them into the ground. Because what you're going to do is if you put pavers down, even with the porous pavers, you're going to have ice issues.
Yeah.
It's going to be easier in the front, I think, than in the back, but you can direct all that water right over to the creek. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, because right now it looks good. I mean, I have no problem aesthetically the way it looks, but when you see it functioning,
Yeah,
it's
you
not
see it,
functioning
yeah,
right at all.
Right.
So, and I see it.
I agree with you.
So, I mean, you might want to put that into your plans to just remove that water. And
I
you probably
agree.
get it going north pretty easily. So,
I agree with you.
all right, just going to throw that in there.
Thanks for the heads up. I saw it when it was raining and it was underneath the eaves, and I go, oh, God.
Yeah.
It's really, yeah, it doesn't have anywhere to go. It just beats down
sits
on the ground.
And if we get a heavy rain event like a hurricane, it could probably flood the basement. That's what I'm kind of worried about, is that basement flooding again.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah.
Anything on the Milton Landing Citizens Committee?
Well, I know we're looking to get together and hashing out some stuff with this grant, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
we're having-
We need to basically find a date where we can all get together
Yeah.
type
yeah,
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, and then we can figure out exactly what the parameters of this new grant's going to be.
Right.
So I think that's just all we're waiting for. It's just scheduling between us all. So.
Right.
Yep.
Also waiting to hear from Monique Legendre from Mid-Hudson Economic Development
Okay.
Council. She'll be the person that will walk us through
Yeah.
what's the next steps are.
Yep.
Hopefully by the end of this week. I think I told you guys, we saw Megan Taylor at this grant writing seminar that Rosemary and I went to.
Yep.
Thanked her. She said, yes, you'll hear from Monique soon. So,
All right.
Thank you.
yep, the next one, Al, I think we're trying to get a meeting. We had a meeting scheduled for December, but it had to be changed, so Michelle is trying to get us back together again sometime in January on at Marlborough Hamlet Economic Development Committee. That's all I know.
Well, just to bring you up to date, Tilcon sent a new lease. We're no longer leasers of the .3 acres, which the St. Mary's owns. They leased it. So we double lease. We actually took that out, and I just signed that and sent it to Danny Marticello. So we no longer are involved in that, and also notified the lieutenant up in Kingston that the town has no jurisdiction in telling them what to do with that piece of property. It's up to the church if they want the inspections being done that, so it's in the church's hand. So just to keep everybody informed of what's going on with that double lease. But we still lease the 32 acres, which is great. We walked it a couple of weeks ago. It'll be a great trail. We get people involved, and we're still ongoing talks with the church, maybe to allow us to have 2 or 3 parking there. I don't know with Danny, and we're going to walk the site with Danny when he has a chance.
Yeah.
Okay. Meet me in Marlborough, Ed. I haven't heard
Danny
anything.
Marcel,
I haven't heard anything. Hammond and Milton Association Committee, Alan?
No, nothing really until springtime comes.
Yep. And the transfer station review.
The only thing that we're talking about there is doing a chipping of the brush sometime in April, May, depending on Gail's availability,
Okay.
and possibly renting a tub grinder. But as it gets closer, I'll give you more updates.
Okay.
And yeah, that's it.
Well, we're going to talk about the metal building at the transfer station, thanks to Councilman Corcoran.
Yep.
He arranged something, a bunch of people to go up there and look at it, and he'll be talking about that under new business.
Yep.
So, old business plans for Tomvec. There's a meeting tomorrow night, right, Scott?
Tomorrow night, right here, 7 o'clock. Yep.
Okay. And it's open to the public, as the web suggests. Design standards for Route 9W Corridor Overlay District, that we're still working on that, CAC. And LERP, I haven't heard anything from Barbara Kendall to finalize that and have that last payment.
Just as a reminder, Al, we ought to get back to her and Parks and Rec on those 2 grants we didn't get, just to debrief us on why we didn't get those. Probably going to tell us the same thing they told us last year, but
So you want to...
I can follow up on that.
Yeah, can you
Okay.
please?
Yeah,
And I think we could take E off now, Scott, right?
Yeah.
Planning board fees?
Planning board fees, we passed that reorg, so I'll make a motion to remove letter E from old business.
Need a second?
Second.
Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Eliminate E. Under new business, Scott.
All right, so myself, the chief, Sergeant Pascal, Gail Appler, Highway Superintendent, John Alongi, a bunch of the highway guys and other officers all met up at the transfer station this past week. We're looking at putting a shooting range in behind the old metal building at the transfer station. This is for the PBA. They currently, twice a year, right, Chief? Once a year. They go for training all day. It's about an hour away. It's time consuming. We got to drive there in our cars or gas. So this is something that was brought up through the PBA prior, that if we would allow them to use this space up there for it. So the trade-off for us would be that the PBA is willing to help us fix up the old metal building up there. So I know we've talked a bunch about putting a new floor in there because we need a floor, so we possibly will use this building back for storage again. If we do utilize Tomvac, we're going to have to get stuff out of Tomvac. Charlie's big water machines in there, the light towers are in there, there's a few other items in there that do not fit up in the highway department buildings at this point. So they're willing to, as far as I know right now, I think they got a formally approve it, but sounds like they're ready to say they're willing to pay for the flooring, which could be about $6,000 or $7,000 depending on them. The building itself is in, I won't say it's in the greatest shapes, but it's in a lot better shape than I had envisioned. So I think we definitely got to put a garage door, probably a new door. We got to fix some panels and fix a couple of the roof panels that have a couple little ding holes in them. Again, possibly maybe paint it later on down the road. I'm envisioning, because of the garage door, I think we're in the same ballpark, around the $7,000 range of our cost if we go forward with it. But that's the building. Behind that, they would do a 100-yard outdoor shooting range. The highway department is willing to do all the work for us, so that's a big plus. I think it's a great idea, and so I'm pitching it to the board to say, can we approve this to move forward? Us saying spending up to about $7,000, and then allowing the PBA to donate the floor, and then to allow them to build a shooting range up at the transfer
You want to
station.
wait for them to come back, or
Well, I'd like to give them an answer that we're willing to do it,
Yeah.
and then that way they know we're serious.
I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
What do you have to do there if the fence is in?
Yeah.
Just put up some berms, right?
Well, they will be putting berms.
Kind of a natural earth berm.
Right.
That berm would be dug straight, so it'll kind of align with the building, out 100 yards, and then we would put up another berm, maybe 12 feet higher, so it's used as a backstop.
So looking at the building chief in the back, it would be going to the
So if the building,
west?
if the building was at your back, you'd be looking, is that west? Yes, west.
Yeah, it's west.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
west.
Building straight up west, so that embankment would be dug back a little bit to make it more vertical, and then that curve would be brought in to make like an L,
Yeah.
Okay.
and that would be our backstop.
Yeah.
They're already talking to some people to get some telephone poles donated. We would erect those with some cabling systems so we can hang targets. That earthen back would be our backstop. We'd have to do some signage, possibly have a gate near the building. Something that would indicate that there's an active range at the time we were using it. But yeah, not a lot of work actually.
Jerry, would you be,
Moving that big piece of equipment is gonna be the
Yeah.
big challenge.
Well, I think we got to get someone to come up there and,
what's that, the old Great Hall? Why don't we just sell that for weight?
well, that's what I mean. I think we just
Sell
get
it.
someone to come up and take it. for
I would sell
metal.
it, no, I mean, it's
Sell
all
it.
steel.
Whatever
Why
it
don't we
is, it's a
scrap
big
it?
piece of machine, so.
Yeah, call up one of these.
Call up a scrapper and scrap it and get
Yeah,
money for
I
it.
definitely think yeah, definitely.
Larry's
I don't know what scrap brings today.
It's better if he gets
We're
rid
gonna
of it.
get something per pound, it's all steel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Counterweight, there's a huge
You're gonna
counter.
get value, but you won't get full value because they're probably gonna charge you. It's
Yeah.
not easy like just crushing it up and
exactly.
throwing it away.
No, I don't have a problem with that, I mean,
It's
we,
a monster.
yeah,
That's a
we,
big,
we just cut off a ladder truck a couple years ago we couldn't sell it, couldn't do anything with it, so between the aluminum and the steel, because then there's a big counterweight in that machine, so we actually did all right.
Yeah.
We made a few $1,000s on it.
Speaking of,
So that's almost like what a ladder truck's made of.
dog control.
The,
yeah, machine is.
yeah, just give him a call and give it a shot. You're gonna get a few thousand, I mean, it's just
Yeah,
sitting
so
there
we'll
now.
do that. I mean, I think
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
And I take anything that comes from the scrap sale of that and put it into the building.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
just a couple of questions. Are you going to plan on, because I've been to a few shooting ranges in my time. Are you planning on doing anything like you're going to be inside the building shooting out?
Everything's outside.
You would do it all outside?
What we were considering is maybe, well, initially several phases. The first phase would be to dig that embankment out, build the dirt embankment, and probably bring in somebody to walk on between the building and the range berm.
Yeah.
As future goes and funds become available, maybe even paving that section of it, make it easier for cleanup, and possibly a lean-to off the back of that building, so we have something to shoot under.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because of
Currently,
inclement
what we
weather.
use now is 100 yards as well. All they have is like cement walkways to the targets,
Yeah,
rather than fully paved.
yeah,
It's a pain in the butt to pull the grass out of the grass.
Yeah.
But it can be done. Pavement makes it a lot easier. They have these little brooms that just sweep up the
Yeah.
grass, which is nice. And then the shooting benches, the rifles, go underneath that lean-to thing.
yeah, because I would envision, I mean, I would price it just for you now, I would price it out with a lean-to now. I mean, see what it would be.
We could go to lean-to up ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, Justin and the guys talked about definitely doing that. So I think that, yeah, they're probably going to be looking into doing that because that was part of the discussion up there.
So do you see,
Do you see other towns?
yeah, that's my question.
Well, the village of Fishkill has their own range, it's much bigger than what we're proposing here.
I'm saying like
It actually
Highland.
has a building that they shoot out of, it actually has a classroom in it. We weren't looking at anything like that, we just basically need a place to shoot.
So you envision it just for the town of Marlborough?
Do you see it anywhere where maybe another local police agency would come in and pay to use it? Because you're paying now to use a range, right, or wrong?
No,
You don't pay to
No.
use it?
just the guys that commute out there,
Oh.
it's Schwan's range.
Or contribute towards
prison.
the cost?
Sounds like a good deal.
I like it.
Sounds-
In the cases we have in local prisons, we can only shoot between 8 and 5.
Yeah,
So it prevents us from doing night shoots,
yeah,
and range availability.
yeah.
So I had to
Everyone's
book-
using it.
I had to book 18 for 19. So if it rains on those 2 Saturdays we booked, we either shoot in the rain or we don't shoot.
Yeah, you don't want to shoot in the rain. I
It
mean,
gives us much more flexibility to be able to do it here. We'll spend more time on the range and less time commuting,
Yeah,
which is nice. I won't be eating all that extra time out of the range day, and I won't have to pay the instructors 12 hours.
yeah.
Yeah, I was just wondering
I-
if with the local, like
Yeah.
a Highland or something like that, you get some revenue for yourself. I mean,
That was something we could propose. I don't know how that would all work, town insurance, and then not be employees of the town.
They bring a rider on theirs.
Insurance and stuff, yeah.
Bring a rider over.
The unions kick it in.
Yeah.
And the town owns the, who gets the prop, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
I think that would make it complicated.
Yeah.
Not to behold it, don't be surprised if another municipality calls and asks to use it, and it would require, in my opinion, town board approval
Yeah.
and PBA.
Yeah.
Now, we're,
This is baby steps, so let's start with this. I would suggest to Scott's motion that we put a ceiling of 10,000 on it, so.
Yeah, we could put even higher, yeah. I mean,
You know.
look at it this way, and I don't know if you've already planned it, but when you're looking at putting the floor in the building itself, right?
Yeah.
So when you're getting plans to have that floor, why don't you extend that floor out like 15 feet out?
On the backside.
On the backside, make it a continuous floor.
We
you can take-
discussed this among us, we haven't really discussed anything with the town yet, in terms of exactly who's gonna do what, and how we're gonna do it, we just have an idea that PBA would do the floor, town would do the building, it was very quick, we were there an hour.
an hour,
All these major ideas in an hour, so.
and it was pretty cold.
Details we worked out. The idea was, is the town interested in going forward, and does the union want to go forward? And that, we thought if we get that
Andrew.
solved, then we could really sit down with pens and pencils.
I know you got to the bath, go ahead.
All right, I'm
I got it.
100% on board.
The creative thing for you to think about, the challenge will be for you, whoever designs this shooting range, is to figure out how to use all 2,000 tires that are stacked in there. and
We talked about that.
Use them as
We
targets.
talked about that.
Okay,
There was a conversation about burying some of those tires.
Into the barrier.
into the bank.
That's exactly what we think.
Okay.
Penetration. Not that you're gonna penetrate it, 10 or 12 foot wide.
But that's what we said.
Embankment, anything we have. But it gets rid of maybe
Bury 'em
50
into
or
the
100 tires.
So
I
Exactly.
don't know how
it's
legal that is.
another barrier.
Embankment, but it's a removable embankment.
Right.
I didn't hear anything.
That berm is removable, it's gonna be something we're gonna build.
It's not a
Right.
permanent.
It's not like it's an actual part of the.
No, it's they're building the embankment. It's like they're building it and they're using the tires as part of it, so.
Because next meeting, I'm going to request funds for
Yeah.
tire removal, so. Yeah,
Okay,
I
so-
guess, I was kidding, but if you were thinking about it, maybe
No.
we could shred them, you know?
We actually did talk about that. What did you say?
That would be something that's gonna suggest to them, and what we should do to keep the embankment there. Because with weather and stuff, it could erode, so we need to
Right.
make sure that it
Yeah.
stays where
Right. The other thing, and this is unrelated, but thinking of removing vehicles, what about the 2 cars that are behind the town highway department building? Yeah, whose are they and why are they there?
They're the ones that are cut up. They're the ones that are cut up. Yeah,
Can we get rid of those for metal?
We did extrication training. The guy who had the cars brought in was supposed to have them taken out. It's been discussed with us, among the fire officers. So the cars will be moving.
Okay.
They should have been out of there.
What do you do with those? Do you sell those for metal too?
No, we get them donated to us, and then we do our extrication drills.
Okay.
So we had a lot of new guys. We had to teach them.
I was just wondering.
Okay, so there's a motion to spend $10,000 on the, up at the transfer station, the metal building, to put the concrete floor in by Scott Corcoran. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
So
Good
we'll
idea,
follow
Scott.
up with the PBA, and
Tell them we're kicking in 10 grand. Let's
we're
get
kicking it up some notch here. We're going to get the building fixed up. They'll get a shooting range, hopefully, and it'll all work out. And as we're on the transfer station, thanks to Tommy for taking the glass up there and getting rid of it from the assessor's office this past weekend. And I was going to ask Andrew, but he's in the conference call, I guess, back there. But we do have a dog, what is it, dog control officer bed that was on a truck that's sitting up at the transfer station. Yeah. I don't know if he was interested, because it's one of the things we want to get rid of that's sitting up there. It's like a kennel. So, I mean, even if you could use it as a kennel on a property if you wanted to. It doesn't necessarily have to be on a truck. It's a big square white box. It's to the right side of the...
I don't know, in the day, did they use that?
I think it was on someone's truck. Maybe. There's a couple old dog carriers are up there still. It's to the right side of the big truck. But I mean, someone could use it. It's just sitting there.
When he gets back, we'll talk to him, if he gets back. So, that's on the metal building, that's new
Thank you.
business. Correspondence, I just have one. Chief of Police Gerald T. Koza Jr., please accept this letter as a formal notice that I'm resigning from the position of a part-time police officer. My last day of employment will be 2 weeks from the date of this letter, which will be on January the 1st, 2019. I appreciate the opportunity given to me by this agency in the time I have been here. I hope we can maintain a professional relationship going forward, and that's from Brandon Ewing, and he's moving to High Park, correct? Yep.
Which fellow is this? Did we just...
We just hired him.
We just hired him.
Yeah.
2 or 3 months.
And he originally turned Hyde Park down, and then they called him back to speak to the pot, so he has to do it. If it leads to a full-time job, he has to do it. He's a good officer. If it doesn't work out, gonna knock on the door again, I'll take him back on our.
That's good. That's good, too.
Good luck to him.
Yeesh. Hey,
Good luck.
Gotta do what's best for you.
At least we spent $1 million in training.
This time.
So we're at the point of the public comments. Item 13, James?
Just want to make two comments about the shooting range. One is with regard to tires. I looked into alternative uses for tires, and one of the things that I had seen was using them as planters. But one of the caveats that they made sure was that you don't use planters where you're trying to grow things that you're trying to eat, because tires do leach chemicals, which is one of the reasons why you do want to get rid of those tires in the transfer station. But putting them in the embankment, I don't know as if that's the best idea in terms of the fact that it will leach those chemicals, and there is a stream that runs through and that runs into farming areas. So I don't know as if that's the best thing to do, but I certainly want you to, consider that if you decide to go that route.
We're going to remove the tires the proper way. We're not going to use it.
Good. The other thing is you're going to remove, you mentioned that you're going to sweep up the casings. What about the shells, the impact shells themselves? Do those get cleaned up? I don't think you use lead anymore in the bullets. They do.
That's the purpose of keeping the embankment movable, is that at some point in time, that abatement needs to be done. I can tell you, I've been in Fishkill for 22 years, and we've never abated that embankment this year. So I don't see, I suppose with the rain was shut down
Yeah, I think they had a problem in Peekskill a while back, but I'm sure they had been using that probably for decades. But
There are clean ranges today where you shoot into a containment system and the actual bullet head falls into a bucket, but I'm pretty sure the town or the PVA has about $1 million to set them up.
no, but
Dirt bag, it's the way we go.
I just want to make sure that there has been some consideration that you're going to have to deal with this someday in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Mark?
Everything is something, right? It's true.
Good evening.
Thanks. I just had a couple of questions to follow up on the Bayside update on that. Do you have an update on the project starting and also on the World War I barn?
Bayside is still working on their conditionals, and one of the conditionals is DOT, and we know how slow they work, so once
That
they...
curb cuts, you mean?
Whatever coming out of their road that they're going to build, right, that's going to go right to that light.
Right.
So they might have, there's some, they need some, I don't know exactly what they're looking for, but they need the permits from DOT to do whatever they're going to do.
Right.
And so that's taken a while. So the planning board passed the project months ago, and there's all these conditionals, and they have a few left. Talking to the applicant the other day, so they're moving forward to hopefully finish those conditions before the bat season starts again in March.
Right. Now, about the World War I barn there, any movement there?
There is no movement there.
I know, the only update I have on that is I know Chris Brand has met with a couple of local people that might be willing to help in some regard.
Okay.
So,
You know, I would say that the clock is ticking on that because one of the conditions of his conditional to get the map signed is he had to advertise in the local paper, and he also advertised in the record saying that there was these barns that anybody historic value, that anybody wanted to take them, could take them, no charge, and so he did that. So, so when they decide to take it, you know, hopefully before he starts the project, because they'll be gone.
Do you have any update on the $250,000 grant for Tomback and what the board is going to do?
No, we have the 250, but reviewing with Councilman Corcoran and Councilman Baker, it's probably going to be like in the 600,000 range to bring it up to where we want it.
Right.
And so, you know, so as the process goes with them, I work on the other side, see if I could get some more funding.
To add to the 250?
Yeah.
But I remember you talked about needing to do some paperwork in order to get it, which might take time.
Right.
That has not started.
I think I agree with Councilman Corcoran and Councilman Baker to, I kind of flip-flopped on this because I was told previously that 250 would actually do it by somebody that I relied on, but I guess they didn't really look at different issues that had to be done, like the roof, the whole outside, some places on the struts are rotten, and there's other issues to it. And the bathroom, if you look at how many people are going to be there, how many urinals you need, how many ADA compliant, so they're working on that, and I'm very pleased. They're moving forward. Scott and Howard are doing a great job, and the committee's doing a great job. So once we get all that stuff and they come to whatever the budget might be, then that's the time where I'll start working on the paperwork, and hopefully with parallelism, I could get that money to complete the project.
But I thought the 250 would take a number of months to get.
It will. A member item takes a year.
Which, that's a member item, right?
That's a member item.
Right.
So that's not a match or anything. That's $250,000. But a contract usually takes a year. So I'm waiting for the committee to come back to the town board to tell the town board with their final design would be.
Okay.
And Phil Bill, the engineer, is working on that, and he'll put the estimates to it. And I'm sure we're talking to Scott and Howard, they'll get estimates from local people to get a good feel of what has to be done as far as the plumbing, new kitchen, and stuff like that. So
But is that required before you go after the 250, to apply, I mean?
everything's required to any member item for a budget.
You have
So
to have this other stuff done first.
yeah,
Right.
you have to have a budget. The first step is a budget, it's a preliminary budget.
Right.
And then later on, you go into the details, and then you go into details with the drawings and all the design specs on the job. So, yeah. And it's the Wicks law, so it's, everything has to be separate. You have a separate plumbing, separate electric, general contractor.
The last question I have is update on Chestnut Petroleum. Any?
Chestnut Petroleum is building their wall there.
They
I'm not
started
going to
up
say
again?
anything about walls.
Okay.
Yeah, they're moving forward. So Mickey Jamal is committed to this. We talk every other day.
Have
So
they straightened the issue out with the road?
they're working with DOT, and they're working through that. So there's a lot of,
Not resolved quite yet?
excuse me?
It's not resolved quite yet?
A lot of it is resolved. Like, for instance, they were under the impression that they had to go, so the new road, the 800 feet of new road, they were under the impression that the front to the east, on the north and south lane, that they would have to go right down to Bedrock and put an all-new road. That's not the case. All they have to do is they reclamation, they grind it, they get the millings, and then they put in the new surface.
Right, right.
So it went from like a $200,000-300,000 job to maybe, I don't know, within the $50,000 range or something like that. So they had that meeting with DOT. So that's the other thing. The other thing is that on the edge, when their road meets the old road, they have to make sure that that edge is built up to spec, and that they have to do some boring. So once they do the boring, and they're pretty confident the borings would show that the road is in good condition, because DOT just did that when they did the light.
Right.
They had to do the same thing, and the shoulder was in good condition. So they're moving forward with that too.
Okay, good, thanks.
Hopefully 2019 will be a Dunkin' Donut year.
September, October, look out for the fall
We'll see.
But this year.
this year.
That's what we need.
Okay, moving forward. So I have Resolution 27 to appoint a part-time police officer. Supervisor Lanzetta proposes the following. Whereas John Zambito was appointed a part-time police officer for the purpose of attending the Ulster County Police Academy, and whereas John has completed and graduated from the academy, and whereas it is recommended of the Chief of Police as well as the Police Committee to appoint John Zambito a part-time police officer. Be it resolved that John Zambito be appointed as effected immediately, and moves for its adoption.
Councilman Corcoran.
Yes, congratulations.
Councilman Malinelli.
Yes.
Councilman Koenig.
Yes.
Councilman Baker.
Yes.
Supervisor Lanzetta.
Yes, congratulations, John. Okay. So the Resolution 28 to authorize the supervisor to sign an agreement to allow coverage sharing with neighboring towns during vacation and or emergencies. It's quite lengthy, and Andrew will explain to us what it's all about. So I'll just skip right there and say that it moves for its adoption. Everybody okay with that, by the way, that resolution?
That's fine.
All right. Okay.
Councilman Corcoran.
Yes.
Councilman Malinelli.
Yes.
Councilman Koenig.
Yes.
Councilman Baker.
Yes.
Supervisor Lanzetta.
Yes. So before we leave, Andrew, I think we have a question for you.
So Andrew, up at the transfer station, there's a big square box, kennel-like.
Yes.
I don't know if you're interested in it or not, but since we're looking at a shooting range, it's got to be moved.
Yeah.
So,
No, thank you very much for the offer of that. I understand that Jim Meyer got that.
yep.
Jim and Vinnie, Rodano from Gardner got that from somebody down in the city brought up years ago. The host use. Unfortunately, that wouldn't meet the requirements of the climate control
Yeah, just sitting there for many years.
So we
Okay.
should throw it away.
So it's not usable, you said, at
No.
all?
Get
No.
rid of it. Whatever, okay.
Well, if it's metal, we could like shoot it. Alan said, we'd crush it with the other thing.
Alan?
Shoot it.
Yeah, put it out there for shooting.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
All right.
So moved.